The three of us are in a battle. You get to bring one weapon, but it has to be period accurate.
What period?
The sword and sandal period. Pseudo back then.
Pseudo back then.
BC whatever.
I have a talwar literally right here.
A talwar? Define?
It's kind of like a saber, or it's a little like a European longsword, but it's kind of bent, and it's like it's kind of it's sort of an Indian weapon from the Punjabi area. There's actually an inscription on it in Punjabi, which reads "Victory to Charity in Arms," which is a Sikh saying. So I guess I'm bringing this.
All right, that's easy enough. Victor?
Yeah. It's kind of 1800s-y more than
I'm thinking
anything, but...
I'm thinking maybe a really good shield, because I figure I'll just let you guys tire yourselves out, and then I'll just beat you with it.
That's a good strategy. I was going to bring...
Yeah, Victor's the bulkiest of all of us.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best move. I had a quarterstaff, which I can keep my distance
I
against.
have a sword.
Yeah, but no, well, hang on. Quarterstaff beats sword.
No, but see, the talwar is curvy, so it can just curve around you and poke you right in the belly.
I have
right
the
in the
distance.
belly points.
I just keep smacking you away from me.
I have the speed.
The speed. Two sides to the long quarterstaff.
I only need one side. Looks like I win in side efficiency.
And Victor's all sides, so I can't really do anything about that. Shield, I guess, was the way to go.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be really funny to just troll you guys with that. just.
I feel like a shield would be heavy though, and I'd be able to leap out of the way and just do a sneak attack, which I believe gets you extra damage.
But my quarterstaff, I forgot to mention this, but it's the staff of Moses, so I can call up a pillar of fire, so I win.
Well,
Adam just pooped all over the chessboard.
That's what happens when I start to lose.
well, all right then.
Greetings, and welcome to GenreBot, the group writing machine. 3 characters enter, 1 story leaves. 3 characters enter, 1 story leaves.
3 characters are we not all doing it now?
We're not syncing up.
I thought we were all going to do it.
Impossible for us to sync up. I'm Adam. Are you not entertained?
I'm Vic. Husband to a murdered wife. Father
God
to a
damn
murdered
it.
son. I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Well, I guess I'm going to go anyway. My name is Andrew John George Saywolf Homiak, co-host of the group writing machine, undergraduate of Drexel University, loyal servant to the university president John Fry, father to a murdered grade point average, husband to a murdered bank account, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
I see yours was much more creative, so...
Yeah. And
But you got there first, so you are the Edison to my Tesla.
but
I don't...
Tesla did it first.
I think you have that backwards.
You know what? You are the jerk to my normal person. How's that?
All right. And as you may have guessed, our genre of this week is sword and sandal.
If you did guess that, good job.
Yeah, because you're very well versed.
Not sword and sorcery.
No, there may or may not be sorcery, but there's definitely sandals.
Yes, sword and sandal refers specifically to one period of this sort of film, but it's being more broadly applied here to the whole thing, which Adam's going to describe because it's his turn.
Yep. All right, I think I'm going to start with just examples, because I think the best way to get a picture of this is to see it in play. So, sword and sandal movies are things like Hercules, Gladiator, 300, Spartacus, Troy, Clash of the Titans. And you get a really vibe coming from this. It's kind of epic, between like historical fiction and historical fantasy. Shirtless heroes. The gods are playing chess. There's sand everywhere, man. It's
Basically like a movie that takes place in either like classical mythology or biblical times, or like Greece or Rome or maybe Egypt.
Yep. Those are that's the area of the world that we're dealing with here, and that's the time frame. Back in the day, biblical pieces like the Prince of Egypt or the Ten Commandments. Ben-Hur, definitely.
So many sandals.
And sometimes they have mystical settings like Atlantis. But yeah, you get it. Big long names for winning Scrabble games.
Yeah. Also, did you know that there was going to be a Gladiator 2?
Really?
Yes.
Were people already entertained, so they didn't make another one?
Well, no. There's a Cracked article about this, and as good as Cracked is, but apparently some C-list rock star named Nick Cave was going to write a thing where Maximus gladiators the Roman gods, so they let him go back to Earth after he dies, and then he goes and he defends early Christians from persecution, and he becomes immortal from that. So he just, for the next 2 hours, he fights his way through the Crusades and Vietnam War, and he ends up working at the Pentagon.
Cool name and cooler idea.
Yeah, but also that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Hands down.
Yeah, but I think that kind of summarizes, that gets the feel across of this genre, that all those Hercules movies, all that, you get the hero figure, he's fighting bad guys, but it's in a historical style setting.
I always considered the trifecta of these films to be Gladiator, Troy, and 300 in no particular order.
Definitely in modern terms. Troy was really interesting because they told us the Greek god story without the Greek gods in it.
Oh, yeah. Troy's actually an incredible movie because it does a great job of capturing everything that the Iliad was, but without any of the mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Except there's one line where Achilles is just like, I've seen the gods, and that's it.
Yeah.
The only visual adaptation I've seen of the Iliad is this one thing that I think was sponsored by Crayola or something in grade school.
What?
You
had a Crayola mythology teacher?
It couldn't have been Crayola, but that's what I'm remembering for some reason. Maybe it sounds like that, but they were singing and dancing for the bit where Athena and Venus and who's the third one? The three. Yeah, and the third one, they all come down and they ask Paris, hey, who among us is the most beautiful? Then they sing a little song so choose me, don't refuse me.
For some reason, that's ringing some kind of bell.
Yeah, this was in the grade school that we all went to because we all have the least diverse background ever as a podcast.
Fair enough. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
And I have one more to shout out. Gods of Egypt.
Oh, God.
Which is a wonderful time. I recommend it to everyone when it comes to Netflix, which is destined to happen because that's the quality of this film. There's a scene where Jeffrey Rush as Ra grows 4 times the size of a normal human and fights a giant space worm with his spear over a flat planet.
Brought to you by
There's
Tonka.
Alcohol.
Yes.
Right.
I was trying to think of a children's brand. Fisher-Price. Damn it.
Yeah, Fisher-Price has probably this wonderful scene, which is... I'll have to link you guys to, and I might post on Twitter as well, because everyone has to see what the wonderful things that this movie has generated. But anyway, let's see what we can generate ourselves with character time.
Characters.
Oh, I'm sorry. The character arena.
Okay. Are we? I guess this. It's not off the table that our 3 characters might be in some sort of gladiator situation fighting each other.
I think it's very, very possible.
That's very.
If not likely.
Also, we had no boundaries on space-time this time around because Adam, you cited a movie about Hercules and Samson.
Hercules, Samson, and Ulysses were all in an Italian-made sword and sandal movie, which is
geez,
yeah, it's crazy because I'm like, wait, those are from all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, there was an episode of the Hercules animated series where he crossed over with Aladdin.
Yeah, so you can do anything you want, really.
Actually, there's a question. How far-fetched is that?
It's about, Hercules is pre-Christian, obviously, and Aladdin is post-Islam, so that's like the 600s.
But then there's Genie, who's like 1990s.
Actually, not to go off on a tangent, but I do really like the idea that Aladdin is in the distant future, which is why
I don't like that idea.
It has to be a very specific distant future.
Yeah, like, that's why
Genie would have been around in the 90s.
Yeah. Like,
which isn't
he knows all like
our
the pop culture references and...
But he's a genie. He can just pop forward and pop back.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, here, I have a science explanation for your magic.
Hey, there are a few provisos, okay? A couple of quid pro quos. All right? He can't just go jumping around time that way.
All right, I'm going to start with my character.
Adam has to be the dad this episode.
I'm usually I think whoever's topic it is default dad. Some people are responsible parents. Other people just are those kids that they have those kids that just eat the playground.
The whole thing.
Yeah, just like
that happened
down.
to my hamster once, kind of. It died.
All right. So my character's name is.
How do you spell that?
Hang on.
UGYY.
I wrote this earlier in the week.
IYEEH.
Now his name is Chrysolicus. Spelled like that.
No,
but his nickname is Chris. Hey, that's easy, right? Chrysolicus.
Hey, Adam, I have a question. Why do you hate Victor so much?
I spelt it in the Skype chat, if you're interested.
He did, and that is a spelling.
That is a spelling.
That is.
Hey, it wasn't me.
I smell Google Translate.
That's got Google Translate all over it.
Oh, good call.
Yep.
Doing it now.
So Chris, yeah, I'll call him Chris. Chris is a demigod, man.
Whoa.
He's a demigod. He's half god, half man. His father was Hermes.
Oh, fun fact.
The least interesting god.
It is, Google Translate detected that it is Greek, and translates to Chrysolicus.
Oh.
With a G.
Well, I did some mission mashing. It pseudo translates to Grey Wolf.
Grey Wolf.
Oh, Lycos, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hermes
exactly.
had an actual demigod son or godson named Autoclus. Autolycus. He was Odysseus's grandfather or whatever, and that means the wolf itself. So I'm like, hey, maybe he had another son that no one really knew about.
Spin-off.
Grey Wolf. Yeah. He from his father he inherited abilities of like great swiftness, but not like speed, more like reflexes. Like he's very dexterous. Good bonuses.
Okay.
Yeah. And his story goes is that his father Hermes said, "Look, a lot of the Greek gods kind of go around the world of men and mess things up. Don't do that. I kind of did it too by having you, but please don't go to the world of men. It's great up here." And Chris visits the world of men.
Of course he does.
Yeah. The idea that came to my mind was, oh, what if he does something, like does some great feat and is worshipped on Earth by men? Like briefly, people are saying like, "Oh my God, you're a god. You're more god than any god I've seen."
Demigods always have overarching like quests for personal glory.
Yeah,
Their daring deeds are great theater.
They're very. There's definitely a theme there of, I don't belong here, I don't belong there, but I'm too good for these guys, too bad for them.
Right.
So it's always I like that character arc a lot, and I want to do that in this genre.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, Andrew, why don't you come next?
All right. My character, and I'm going to do copy-paste, so minimal typing time, is Pactum Bonum.
Words.
That's a spelling, all right.
Yeah. Pactum Bonum, age 29. He works in the Coliseum as an announcer for fights between animals, various human warriors, and even the occasional monster.
He must have to.
He wears a...
Sorry. He must have to really scream.
Oh, yeah. No, this is my No, Pactum Bonum means good pact, kind of. And I named him after Dr. Dealgood in Thunderdome, because that kind of character is my favorite character. The guy was like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Death Hole.
Was that your favorite part of the Phantom Menace?
No, he's not bombastic enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but anyway, he wears a face-concealing helmet and ornate armor that seems too big for him because, ... backstory time, Pactum Bonum is actually a false persona used by Eusymphonia, a Greek slave woman who was enslaved as the Colosseum's animal wrangler.
I like how you wrote out ...
Yeah, I did. The god Zeus saw Eusymphonia's great beauty and disguised himself as a warrior in order to infiltrate the Colosseum, woo her, and bed her. Zeus's wife Hera saw what had transpired and cursed Eusymphonia with a deep masculine voice because #blame the victim, I guess.
Do you have a cool nickname for Eusymphonia?
Her new name, I guess
Pactum, yeah.
Well,
that works.
That's her pseudonym, but Eusymphonia is kind of a mouthful of symphony.
You know,
right.
I'm just relieved that for the first time in several episodes, my character description on the spoiler page is not going to be the longest.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was starting to feel bad.
So the animals don't recognize her voice anymore, so now she is the announcer.
Yeah, she's powerless. She doesn't have no animal buddies.
To be fair, Adam, It's like you intentionally keep your descriptions like ridiculously brief.
It's almost like I don't write them down ahead of time.
I wrote mine down ahead of time and just kind of went on a whole bender. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I'll do that on occasion, but I appreciate it, Andrew. This is I think we got the same vibe that we had going for historical fantasy of like,
I wrote a young adult novel for my week.
Right.
My character this week.
Victor?
Yeah, I gotta say, I think this is one of those rare times where we each wrote a character that's unique from the other two, but totally work in the same world. My character, the only name that anyone knows him by is Dante. He finds himself a prisoner in like a military camp of some sort, but he has no memory of who he is. He has total amnesia. All he knows is that his name is Dante, and he keeps hearing the voices of the gods whispering their will to him, but he's conflicted as to whether he should blindly follow them or pursue the truth about his past. At this part I kind of left vague, but I kind of wanted either the gods or somebody else to like warn him not to do that. Like, you should just do what the gods say. So this is kind of one of those like, like he...
Not to do what?
Not to like defy the gods and not to try and, like if the gods took your memory, then it was for a reason.
Oh, so don't go seeking your past, is what the gods are telling him.
You're right. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And he's in just a regular, like, mortal prison?
He's like he's like a prisoner of some sort, and I imagine him being like incredibly gifted at combat, but he doesn't really know it until he has to do it, because, he's basically Jason Bourne.
I was going to say, yeah, you made Sword and Sandal Jason Bourne.
Which is awesome, so...
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That is awesome, and I didn't catch it, so I checks out.
Yeah, there's some joke. I'll find it. Don't worry, you guys. Don't worry.
We don't joke around here on GenreBot. All serious all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enter the story arena.
Story time.
Gong.
Story time. Grab your milk, grab your cookies. We're gonna have a story, children.
Yep. It's going down.
And there's gonna be fighting, because fighting.
We have 3 characters: a demigod, an announcer, and a prisoner. And now they have to interact in the same world and form a 3-act story starting now.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
Okay, Dante's fighting in the arena. The arena it's a fight made in honor of the demigod, the Grey Wolf. Pactum Bonum is announcing. We now all have them in the same place.
That's pretty. That's definitely a scene.
I'm thinking since Dante is a prisoner, he would probably end up being a gladiator, and that can be some kind of big moment where he encounters Chrysolicus, and the gods tell him that he needs to kill him.
Ooh, that is good. Yeah.
Oh, they're telling them that he's got to kill him because he's going to mess stuff up. Just like how Zeus and Hera messed up my guy, and...
Yeah, that's why God Blood, Icar, is not allowed in the world anymore. And that's why he shouldn't be there. But he is. So get rid of him. Kill half of him.
Yeah.
Alright, that makes sense. All right, but I think we need more pieces in this puzzle.
So Dante is basically like... he's basically a drone for the gods. Because it's one of those, like... Instead of wasting the time trying to recruit someone for their objective, they just erase a dude's memory and they're like, "Do what we said," and that could be a big moment of conflict.
Yeah, there's definitely I can see that happening. Symphonia, in her background, what gods didn't like her that changed her? It was Zeus, you said?
Yeah, Zeus slept with her, so Hera cursed her.
Gotcha.
Because
that's usually the situation there.
that normally happens to Zeus's consorts. Like he tricks them into sleeping with him, and then his wife gets mad at them because they have a dysfunctional relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say she really has to. She's in denial that she's in an abusive relationship.
Just dump them.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but a lot of Greek mythology starts with, so Zeus had sex with this person.
Sometimes he's an animal. Sometimes he's a particularly good-looking dresser.
Yeah,
like a cabinet of drawers.
Sometimes he's a well-dressed animal.
Aw.
That's not all, Andrew.
Oh,
it's bad no matter what.
I just pictured a little possum wearing a tie
Let's
or something.
Steer back towards the road here.
All right, I'm just trying to think. Where does Pactum line in this? All right, we set up a pretty good conflict. The gods tell Dante that, hey, I don't know, when maybe is his combat power his own from in his past, or is it more of the gods are gifting him with it?
That's a good question. That might be a mystery.
Okay,
maybe. Because, I can see it going either way. Maybe the gods chose one of the most gifted fighters to be their champion, or maybe they're giving him this power, and they wiped his mind because maybe he's some kind of terrible person, and they were afraid that he would also abuse it.
Fair enough. Okay, what do you think his first fight should be? As a gladiator, what should be the first thing that... He's a prisoner, basically. What is he to fight?
I think it should be... Well, go ahead, Andrew.
I was going to say it should be an animal or maybe even some kind of obscure monster.
Lions? Maybe they...
We could go... That's good, but we could go a little crazier. Just a little. Maybe tiger. Oh, wait, no, that happened in Gladiator.
Also, how's that crazier?
I was going to say wolf on behalf of on behalf of their demigod.
Wolves aren't that big a fight, though. They're basically just mean dogs.
Well, if there's a handful of them, no?
What about, a crocodile?
I think his first fight should just be against, some other dudes. Because what's going to happen is I think they're going to find him amusing and keep throwing crazier stuff at him, so later he can fight monsters.
Yeah, I was going to say let's up the scale.
Okay.
I was start with animals, get to monsters.
Maybe there's just some tough looking. Maybe there's like some tough looking guy out there, and Dante, and he'll be like all confused, like he doesn't know what's going on, and he'll be all timid, and then as soon as the other person attacks, he'll just kind of go into automatic, autopilot and just take them apart, with like scary efficiency, and everyone will be like, whoa.
And then later he fights a Pegasus with a sword tied to his head.
Tied to the horn on his head? Oh, no, they don't have horns. No.
No, yeah, it's a make-your-own flying unicorn thing.
There you go.
Victor, don't you know Pegasus with a horn is an alicorn?
I am embarrassed that I forgot that.
I forgot that in a video, and people have been telling me that every day for months.
Wow.
So
that's such a dumb thing to say every day.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd think that.
You need to watch some more My Little
come
Pony.
on.
Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, maybe he takes out another prisoner. Do we want him to give him a prisoner buddy? A prisoner pal?
I like the idea of having the stereotypical like sage old man that kind of helps him on his spiritual journey or whatever. Like maybe it's one of the gods in disguise or something.
I was thinking like a defrocked priest of some god or something.
I was going to say sage old woman, just to kind of twist things up a little bit. Yeah, maybe some kind of goddess that is in his favor.
Oh wait, I have an idea. What if the god in disguise is Hermes? Because maybe Hermes wants Chrysolacus dead.
I don't think he wants him dead because he is his son. Even if he disobeyed him once.
Well, actually, if he's hearing voices from the gods that say, like, hey, kill this guy, and then Hermes appears like, hey, don't, he's my son.
Yeah, but then he can't really fill that role.
But then we see, like, conflict between the gods.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, we want conflict between the gods. Okay, Hermes should appear in disguise to Dante. But I think he's not the one that trains him or gives him tips or buddies with him, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, because then why doesn't Hermes just do it himself?
Exactly.
Like just go up to Chris and go like, "Hey, you come back here, young man." But Dad.
Yeah, no, I think Hermes is definitely on Chris's side. Even though he's going against the will of the gods.
Oh,
which is that's definitely a good conflict there.
I have an interesting idea. I know this is skipping ahead, but maybe later on in the movie, when the rivalry between Dante and Chrysolacus kind of comes to a head, there can actually be god intervention in the Colosseum. Like Hermes and, I don't know, Hermes and Neptune or somebody, like, just zip down and stand with Chrysolacus, and then, like, maybe like Apollo and someone else like come down to aid Dante, and there's like a big
Athena.
Yeah, someone that can fight. Yeah, and that would be interesting.
She's good.
That's possible.
It would be like the end of Immortals if that movie was in any way good.
Right. Yeah, the gods coming down. That seems I like that idea. But okay, hang on. I had something earlier. All right, what if Dante had a buddy? His prisoner pal, maybe a lady who is a goddess in disguise, but this goddess had ties to Chris in the past. When Chris was still with the gods before he came down to Earth, like maybe they were like, I don't know, betrothed or something like that. So she's more interested in like, oh, he's abandoned not just our world, but he's abandoned me. So I'm actually on Dante's side. I want Chris to pay.
Adam's determined to get some female main characters.
I just want other characters, and female characters are also a good thing.
Well,
so.
We have one that we're ignoring. Like, what's Symphonia going to be doing?
Yeah, Symphonia should definitely buddy up with Dante.
Yeah.
Okay.
She can't do the spurned lover thing exactly as you were describing.
No, not quite. But yeah, they would be... Okay, that makes sense. Why would Symphonia not be cool with Chris?
I think I'm leaning more towards I want Dante to be a bad person
Oh yeah.
So like when he starts realizing, like when he finally starts to get his answers, he's like, oh, so I actually was like not a good person.
No,
and then that can be the gods holding it over him, like, yeah, but you're doing the work of the gods, and it can all be forgiven, and that can be like a source of inner conflict.
Ooh, you could even get Socratic about it and say, like, if one god wills something and I do it and that's pious, and the other god wills something and I do it, but it is contrast to the other god's opinion, then the same thing can be both pious and impious.
Yeah, that's definitely okay. How much of the gods?
Oh, polytheism.
How much of the gods do you want to see in this? Do you want to have a scene where they're watching the Colosseum fights as well? They have bets on both sides, and
I kind of want them to have a presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of want to do what like Troy didn't do. Like I do want to have scenes where we're like on Olympus seeing the gods like talk smack on each other,
like Clash of the Titans style.
Well, I don't want them to be like a super big part of it. I just want them to be a part of the personae. Like I want us to be aware that they are characters that do exist and could show up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just not like a prominent, you know, like they're not always around, but they are around.
I gotcha.
I don't know.
So we're talking Symphonia and Dante. Like what? Why would Symphonia want to aid Dante, help him out?
Well, the gods kind of screwed her over, so
she would want to screw over the gods.
Yeah, and also maybe if she gets rid of this, the curse will be lifted by someone up on Olympus who has like an ounce of common sense, like maybe Hermes. He always seems cool.
Oh wait, maybe I zoned out when you were explaining this, but like, is she now pregnant with Zeus's child?
No. She's Zeus's consort, and Hera was like, "Hey, none of that," and then she cursed her to have a deep masculine voice.
All right, so let's sort this out. Which gods are on whose side?
Okay.
Well, let's not go through the entire pantheon.
No, I don't want to do that. But I'm saying, like, all right, because we've had...
Because some of them are going to be like, I don't care.
Yeah, maybe some of them are just like, I have other stuff to attend to, and Poseidon's like, somebody in Hawaii has figured out I exist. See ya, suckers.
Right, okay, let's just focus on, I'd say, all right, the first of all the two, Hermes and Zeus. Where are their allegiances in this? Because Symphonia doesn't like Zeus, so she wants to work against Zeus.
Zeus doesn't tend to really care about demigods and stuff.
Aha!
Zeus kind of only cares about if he's being disrespected. So, I feel like as far as Chrysalicus seeking glory, I don't know. I feel like if Zeus doesn't notice, then he'd be like, whatever.
Well, actually, I would almost say it as Zeus would be upset that Dante is challenging the gods, even if they're on Earth in a like muddled form, in the shape of Chris. He's saying like, but what I was going to get at is, wait, what if Hermes is on Dante's side? He wants Dante to thwart Chris so that Chris will go back home. Chris will leave the mortal world.
Can we? So there's something that's kind of poking a hole in all this that I kind of want to clarify.
Okay.
What's Chris? What is Chrysalicus's motivation?
Good point. I guess he's just hedonism.
Is he basically just Achilles? He just wants glory.
Yeah.
He wants glory, but he also wants worship in a way that Achilles couldn't command.
Okay, so he's
kind of very intoxicated by power. He'd rather be the biggest fish in a small pond than the smallest fish in a big pond.
Okay.
Okay, so he's like drunk with power.
To an extent, I would say.
Because Achilles actually had a certain nobility about him.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll never beat royals.
I mean, like,
it isn't in his blood.
Like Achilles was arrogant, and that was his downfall. But I mean, he had like a certain, I don't know how to put it. Like, he respected the way things work, sort of.
Perhaps Chris, like this whole tournament, like this whole like big battle Coliseum thing that he's doing, is to kind of work all the find the strongest mortals in existence and prove that he's better than them. Like challenge them to like a fight. So. This kind of... So
the gods are like, hey, dude, quit trying to act like a god because you're not. So that probably will annoy a lot of them. In fact, Zeus okay, Zeus wouldn't like that. So maybe because Zeus, he loves to mess around with people. He probably would be one to like make Dante like an agent of Olympus, but that's an interesting thing because Symphonia hates Zeus. So if she finds out that Dante is just his puppet, she'll maybe like try to ground him and be like, no, you need to like not do what he says because he's a jerk.
She's a third party in this. She's neither with with Dante or Chris.
But the more she pulls him away from Zeus's influence, the more he remembers that he was actually a terrible person before. So it becomes this big conflict, and in the end,
Chris is drunk on power. Dante is drunk on like Zeus, on like on the power and the kind of the peace that he provides to him. Because when he's not focusing on Zeus, like he starts to think about all the terrible things in his past.
Well, that's something else with Greek mythology. Like when you were in the gods' favor, like dude, you could do anything. Like and vice versa. If the gods are pissed at you, you're just nothing's gonna go right, man. Read the Odyssey.
Right.
Like it's just gonna be bad.
Now, but do we want to say that my point here is this weird angels in the outfield mindset I have here. But what's with do the gods want to give Dante their power precisely? Because then that means, oh hey, a demigod would be defeated by a guy with god power, or do they want to say train him as best as gods can do, so it's a mortal that actually can defeat him?
No, I take back anything I said about. I don't think they imbue Dante with power. I think he already was an incredibly talented fighter, and they're just using his abilities.
They're rooting for him.
They're just saying like, hey, you're a really good fighter, and that's cool, but you're going to do this for us now because we're the gods.
We're walking the line here with Deus Ex Machina, which is Greek for Deus Ex Machina.
And they take his memories so that he has really no reason not to listen to them, really.
Right, and as things are going along, maybe Symphonia is the one. In order to trump Zeus, she has to is the one that's trying to get Dante out of it, get him back out of it, trying to reconnect him with his past. So he becomes this, instead of a faceless figure, becomes more grounded and learns of his past and will kind of avoid whatever Zeus and the god are telling him. Maybe that's her role in this. Her personal stake.
Perhaps. So let's go back to some of the earlier stuff we were saying. Like, okay, what's it going to be like the first time they fight?
The first time they fight, or their final fight?
Well, I mean, how many times are they going to fight? Maybe we should figure that out.
Yeah, good point. We were talking like scaling the fights. Like, first he's fighting men, then he's fighting animals, then he's fighting monsters.
Well, and the way that the whole gladiator thing worked, like, Chrysolicus wouldn't be able to just go fight because he wants to. Like, it was prisoners that fought. Mm-hmm. So
he could just go fight because he wants to. He commands that.
Yeah, maybe he's more of a like, all right, I have all these prisoners, and like they are each going to challenge. They're going to challenge men, they're going to challenge animals, they're going to challenge monsters, and then if they can defeat all of them, see if they can defeat me.
Okay, so basically he's going to do like an Iron Fist tournament, and what I was going to say is, I don't want to just see him as some blood-drenched warrior. I kind of like the idea, if he wants people to worship him as a god, I want him to actually behave like basically like Xerxes.
Yeah.
Where he talks as if he's actually a god and has like people that are like, he has like servants and all kinds of lavish possessions and stuff. And
Andrew, you had something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what if he kind of like subverts the Roman Republic by just like what if a demigod walks into the streets of Rome? Does he then not become the head of state?
Yeah, maybe that's what he did initially. Maybe he so you have these scenes of like all the Senate and like people like just watching this guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't know what he's doing, but because he has god blood, therefore they have to listen to him. Maybe the whole state's in turmoil.
Xerxes was a better comparison, but for some reason I keep picturing the bits with Plankton in the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah, like that. He has all the power that he wants, but it's like the structure around him is crumbling. That's the problem with the... Yeah, maybe that could be the end goal of whoever wins, the mortal that wins the tournament. So back to the mortals. Like, the mortals are allowed to take over now. No godhead that we have to bow to.
Yeah.
It's just the regular gods.
I feel like
Right.
we don't have to spend the time, but there's probably going to be a bunch of other integral characters,
Like
you know,
prisoner
freedom
pals?
fighters, or
Prisoner pals of his?
maybe
What gender are they?
Prisoner pals.
All right, everyone come up with a...
women were not gladiators, so like that's not a thing.
Well, white people weren't in Egypt, but gods of Egypt happen.
Dude, are you... Look,
That's true.
No, that's an entirely...
That is
you
true.
are not allowed to use gods of Egypt for examples. Just for
fair
any
enough.
examples.
All right. Fun activity. Each of us pick another gladiator. Create another gladiator for this world.
Okay.
Someone else that's fighting alongside Dante.
All right, well, you got to have the stereotypical huge guy.
All right, you got the...
Oh, I've got one.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the stereotypical huge guy?
I mean, I said there had to be one. I didn't call dibs.
Okay, well, I'm calling dibs. I'm gonna say he's like some guy from like the northern edge of the Roman Empire. He's like one of the Germanic peoples, and he wears a bear pelt everywhere.
Nice.
And he's got like some of those like things that like you can hold that are like claws, but it's like bear claws.
All right. And there's one that's from the east edge of the empire who's like he's really short, and he focuses on weaponless combat, like tripping people up, like moving using their momentum against themselves.
Huh.
All right, Victor, bring us home. Who's our third one?
I'm going to say that there's some dude that is from another corner of the world. He's...
South?
I'm going to say... Where is this? Greece.
Or right.
From a Chinese guy. An older Chinese guy.
Huh.
And he's like a monk or something. And I thought of this because of your whole like hands-free combat thing. Weapons-free. His thing, I guess, could be like uses a staff or something.
A quarterstaff?
Sure.
Oh.
Hands-free combat would be really hard.
Or Eskrima sticks or something like that.
Yeah, hands-free would be pretty hard. Maybe he has a rope and chain.
I gotta say, Chinese is a very left field pick for that, but it's technically possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good work.
Yeah, it's doable. All right, yeah. So there's his crew. Maybe guys he's hanging out with. He's chilling. He's identifying with. Maybe one of them gets killed in the second act.
I'm thinking bear guy.
Yeah. So how are we going to scale? I think that's our last step to work out. How do we scale this gladiator tournament? All right. So they fight men, then they fight animals, then what's Chris's kind of design of this?
Well, like I said, I can never remember. Chrysolicus is not. He's doing this because he wants to. It's like I said. It's like an Iron Fist tournament, and Dante is a prisoner. So I mean, we're kind of gladiatoring this, but we're making it more about the gods.
Yeah.
So like, I imagine. There could be an interesting twist where perhaps in the third act, Chrysolicus takes Eusymphonia and says something about, like, maybe uses that as some kind of leverage over Dante. I don't know. That would be interesting. But maybe, like, because I want her to do something cool at the end. Like, I don't want her to just be there to prop up Dante's character.
I agree. Yeah, so, but she's definitely involved with Dante's character, and, like, she's giving him tips, or what's she doing? She's trying to get him away from Zeus. Right, that's her goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also, like, she's got all, like, the cool like lines from this, like all the big speeches, or not the big, like all the big like, can you dig it? Welcome.
Yeah.
In the name of our emperor, Chris Christie.
Could there be a scene where where Dante's
man versus dog versus bigger dog? Anything can happen, and it will. Are you not entertained?
I think there's definitely got to be a scene where Dante is in trouble, and she uses her announcingness to save him in a way. Say he was fighting a monster that's imperceptible to hearing. All right, he's fighting a siren, man. Oh man! Oh yeah. Chris brought a siren in to fight them, and oh man, she's doing trouble. They're all enchanted, but then
So you're saying he can summon lower forms of mystical beings from the Greek?
I'd have it more
Greek
of a
mythology.
he's gone out with teams of people and found these across the.
He's Giovanni from Pokemon.
Yeah.
Dude, capturing a siren—that's ridiculously reckless.
Oh yeah, that's the type of thing
Oh,
I
yeah,
see
it
Chris
is.
doing.
That is so not a good idea. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he wants to find the greatest mortals, and in order to find the greatest mortals, you have to defeat creatures.
Well, see, she wanted to be where the people were, so it was a win-win.
Ariel is a siren.
Yeah, she sings.
Although sirens are kind of bird people, right?
Well, it depends. In more recent adaptations, they've been kind of conflated with mermaids because harpies are already kind of bird people.
Harpies is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, but sirens are also bird people.
Any other...
But, it's not real.
Yeah. Any other creatures we want to see him fight? Creatures? Because I've got one, and... here, let's do around the...
Oh, a manticore.
A manticore?
Yeah.
Which part is that?
That is head of a man, tail of a scorpion. The rest of the bits are lion-y bits.
All right.
And sometimes it's got wings.
I was going to say a cyclops, but...
Okay. Manticore, Cyclops.
I like that one.
I was going to say Chimera.
Okay.
Isn't there just one chimera?
Oh, there might just be one. Oh, man.
In Greek, you pronounce the CH as a K.
All right, Minotaur, then.
That's an easy
There's
one.
only one Minotaur, too. There's only one Minotaur.
Stupid Greeks.
There's a whole island of cyclopes.
Which one's the whirlpool?
Yeah.
I wanted to fight that.
Charybdis?
Yeah, Charybdis.
Actually, if he just makes the sand of the Colosseum just start spinning around, that's
pretty cool, right?
Wait, is Scylla...
Yeah.
Wait, one of them's a sea serpent and one of them is the whirlpool. Scylla and Charybdis. I think Charybdis is the whirlpool.
Yeah,
And Scylla, I think, is
Scylla is the
creature. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense because it sounds like scaly.
Yeah, Charybdis.
Charybdis.
He has to fight Charybdis.
Okay, so we're gonna bring Charybdis to the Colosseum.
Yeah, so maybe it's more of a summoning than capturing.
I choose you, Manticores. Manticore, use poison sting. Manta. Oh, look at
Charybdis,
No,
use
still
whirlpool.
Yeah.
Kind of on the nose,
Waterfall.
but you get...
continues to exist.
All right. So...
Odysseus literally surfs on it with a chunk of his boat.
Yeah, that is pretty rad.
Odysseus was pretty rad.
All right.
I feel like we just got tricked into one of Victor's lessons.
I teach the Odyssey to my freshmen.
Exactly.
I've taught
Guys,
it
let me
twice.
tell you about a radical dude who surfed in a whirlpool, didn't follow the rules, he had long hair. His name was Odysseus, and he was a cooler guy than you might think. And he's saying all this while he's sitting backwards on a folding chair.
You really don't have to oversell the Odyssey. It's already about just dudes fighting monsters and being super badass. It's that's it. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's just a ripoff of Jason the Argonauts for my 2 cents, but whatever. All right, so let's make this third act interesting, more than just Dante fights Chris and wins. How do we incorporate Symphonia into this? And maybe, like I said, maybe one of his buddies or two of them has died by this point.
Oh, what if Symphonia has this kind of emotional bit where she breaks out the thing that was like her best buddy when she had this voice, but now it doesn't recognize her. But she's going to bring it out anyway, like the T-Rex in Jurassic World. It's like the big monster, like a dragon or something.
The famous Greek dragon.
I'm sure there's one.
Yeah, I think that's a rule that we've learned.
But no, the Roman Empire expanded all over the place. We could pick like something from like Germanic mythology or like something more
Actually,
North African.
I'm pretty sure I read once that almost every
culture has a dragon.
Has a dragon, has an equivalent of a dragon.
I read that too. I just thought it'd be fun to make fun of Andrew. Andrew, I'm sorry for harping on your dragon.
I'm gonna clip that out of the episode and just play it over and over, just so I can sleep at night at last.
If only you were editing the episode.
I'm not, but I'll get the final MP3.
True.
So, all right. So, I'm trying to think because there's something I haven't come up with yet, and that's what is Dante's actual backstory once he realizes it? Because I think it would be really dumb for him to never find out.
He was in an inferno at a peak.
Because there's only one Dante.
Yes, he had a peak.
That's the theme of this episode. # only one.
There can be only one.
Okay, so I'm thinking.
I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking he might have been like some sort of assassin.
What if he had some kind of history with Symphonia beforehand? Maybe that's why Symphonia is trying to like snap him out of this, because they had something going on back in the day, but before her voice changed, and he and that's why he doesn't recognize her, because her voice is different.
Right, and he's got...
And because he has no
memory, yeah, that helps. But it would help if...
Because she's got the armor covering over everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually, that is a really good point. Huh. Yeah, Pactum is totally not... Like, Dante has not made the connection that Pactum is Symphonia. How does he?
Finkel is Einhorn.
Maybe that's the enchantment on Dante, is that as soon as he looks upon the face of Symphonia again, he remembers everything, and that could maybe be an interesting thing, because perhaps actually maybe instead of him being a bad person, maybe they ripped him away from a good life, because the gods have a tendency of doing that, of just messing up someone's life just for whatever. It's like your life.
Make that a twist.
It
seems like he was a bad person, but those were false memories.
Well, he can be like, what kind of good man has these abilities?
Right, yeah.
So he'll just maybe assume, and then he realizes, oh wait, I had like a life, and the gods just figured my puny mortal life was insignificant to, I had to go kick this guy's butt for them. Mm-hmm. So he'll probably be furious. So that would make the last battle interesting, because he's got to fight him, but he's not doing it for the gods anymore, so why is he doing it? So that could be an interesting...
And in the end,
thing.
Instead of him killing Chris, he, imprisons him, or something like that. He doesn't give the gods the pleasure of having him killed off, yet he still... What were you going to say?
I was gonna say two things. One, so we'll have that stereotypical, make the killing strike and drive the blade into the sand next to his head, and then make a big speech. But then I was going to say, if this is a real Greek epic, then there's going to be a sequel that's really long about how he pissed off the gods, so now he has to spend 30 years dealing with it.
Oh yeah, that's totally it. But he'll I'll take that blow just to not give the gods the pleasure, because of what they did to the woman I love.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so then no curse gets lifted?
Good point. Maybe somewhere in that the curse gets lifted. I don't know how. Oh, Hermes. Hermes is the guy we forgot about.
Oh, right.
Hermes can fix everything. We just we need to find out how.
We're calling the movie that Hermes can fix everything.
Oh, I got it. So because of the fact that Dante spared Hermes' son Chris, that Hermes is able to break there's Hera's.
Oh, I have an interesting idea.
Hera's
maybe.
Curse. Oh, what if
maybe after Dante spares Chrysolacus, the gods try to intervene and try to like strike him down, but then Hermes like zips down and saves him because he spared his son.
Yeah.
So then like the conflict kind of passes on to the gods because it's like, well, this is settled, now it's just between us.
Right. Yeah, and
And
Hermes
that's
like, I'll deal with the
interesting.
gods. You guys keep living your life. I lift your curse, and that kind of thing. Andrew, you had something?
I was going to say, what if it was like, I'll give you your memories back, and then it's like, no, if you're going to lift a curse, lift her curse, because that's more unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And then that's nice, because it's like a sacrifice bit.
It is. So he doesn't remember their life that they had, but then Symphonia's like, but let's start our life over again. And
Interesting.
Aw.
yeah.
That's not bad.
By the way, the final fight between Chris and Dante is epic.
Oh, it's got to be like, I mean, it's gotta shoot for like the level of Achilles versus Hector,
Ooh, yeah, good stuff.
which is
Aw.
that's one of my favorite fight
Oh,
scenes
no.
from any
Sorry.
movie.
It's pretty good.
I was still looking at pictures of well-dressed animals. There's a dog wearing a bow tie. It's pretty great.
All right, let's name this movie.
I have one idea.
In 5 minutes, go!
Go. How about Agent of Olympus?
Agent's a very modern term. Might work.
Scion
So-
of Olympus, or just Scion. That's a pretty cool word.
I like the word scion a lot, but that's more of a son of Olympus, descendant.
Well,
It applies to Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, you're right.
How about Hand of Olympus?
That's better.
Yeah. Tool of Olympus. Refers to Zeus.
So Zeus, yeah.
Yeah, because
Zeus done it again.
Zeus is the tool of Olympus. Oh, you mortal ladies. You
Oh,
can't
geez.
handle this.
It's so messed up because it's true.
Also, I sent a picture in the chat of the dog wearing the bow tie.
I see
Look
it.
at him.
It is distracting me from naming this movie.
Okay, well, you can close the chat.
It's a
window.
good kind of distraction, I guess.
Hand of Olympus. How about
Yeah, I think Hand of Olympus makes a lot of sense because it's not just Dante; it's also Chris in a way. It's
Yeah, and it's like playing your hand also.
yeah, right. As in like a card term, showing all your cards. You get that. It's all in that wheelhouse. Unless you had something else, Victor.
I don't know. My wheels are turning, but I'm like, remember what I said the other day? I could settle for this name.
Yeah, I think Hand of.
Oh wait,
Oh.
I was thinking of something. What if we named it like Manus Dei or something? So like Hand of God, and then the tagline could be like one hand does not know what the other is doing, because like it's kind of a conflict between like Hermes and some other gods.
Clever, but people aren't clever.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, that's fair.
People will be like, "What? I don't get it."
or should we?
Nobody in the movie had this name.
You're right. It's a good idea, but a little too smart. Like that worked when we were doing like Ouroboros or that stuff. All right, so do you want to do hand or hands? Because there's multiple ones. No.
Let's do hands because I want to keep a little bit of that. Kind of goes with what I was saying, like how they're playing against each other.
Victor, yes, no, or you're stuck good with the one. You went the one.
I feel like hands. You know what? It's fine. Sure.
I do feel what you're saying. Like it's a little bit awkward because it's an S sound at the end and an S sound at the end, back to back.
Well, it's
But-
also like when you say someone is the hand of something, that's a common phrase. That means they do their work for them.
You can have more than one hand.
True, but
I do.
actually, I'm thinking that hand is the singular is the way to go, just because it has that just beefier, more sword and sandal kind of punch hand of Olympus.
The hand of Olympus has, I think, like a more heft to it.
Yeah,
Because that's the thing with these movies is like the sword and sandal movies have to be very epic in nature. You know, like Hand of Olympus.
All right, yeah, and hands would kind of diminish it because it would imply that there's more than one hand, so
Like,
being Hand of Olympus isn't a big deal.
Exactly.
Like, can you imagine a metal album being named after it? Like, that's kind of,
Hand of Olympus is a metal album and a good name for this one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Think about, Gladiator, Troy, like...
That's a good metric. We should keep that in mind if we do this again. All right, Hand of Olympus.
Yay!
Yay.
I hope you enjoyed listening.
We did it.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed listening.
We did do it.
I hope you enjoyed listening to our episode and you enjoyed our movie that we made. If you didn't, maybe you're like, oh man, you should have done it more like this Sword and Sandal movie. Send us an email, podcast.genrebot@gmail.com. You can find all our websites on our episode, tinyurl.com/genrebot.
Nice save.
Thanks. You can also find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, or where podcasts are found.
Yay!
And coming soon, town criers all across the nation will be singing our episodes in song form.
It's my bit.
You didn't have one. I had a very distinct opening in there. I'm like, all right, Andrew, you want to fill this?
Speaking of...
And I was like, no. You know what? It's not every episode. It's special.
I did it.
Speaking of Andrew's bits...
Yes, Andrew, what is our next episode?
All right. Of all the genres in the world, she walked into mine. We're doing a film noir movie. I don't know.
Huh.
Yay!
No, it's... Of all the podcasts and all the internets and all the world, whatever.
Honestly, like I remembered this genre earlier today. I'm like, that's in like our next 3. Like that's definitely going to happen.
I actually already know my next one, but only on the condition that you guys are okay with another guest.
Possibly.
So,
all right.
I've got 2 weeks to figure
One of
it
us
out,
is going to need to bring a guest on, though.
Oh yeah, it'll happen sometime. But enough about 2 weeks from now. Tune in next week when we do the episode in black and white. But you can't tell.
Whoa!
All right.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
All right. Bye, children.
Live free and die hard.
Hey guys, it's Andrew. So post-episode, I did some digging and found that there was in fact a 1997 episode of Crayola Kids Adventures about the Iliad. What's even stranger is that the song that Aphrodite, Athena, and Hera sing is actually really good for a song in a direct-to-video educational series produced by a crayon company. So, I guess here's that.
Who's the girl most fine and fair? Who do you most admire? Who has the eyes, the smile, the hair? Who's the one with the fire? I'll give you money and power. I'll make you strong. I'll make your life complete. I'm telling you, if you pick me, you can't go wrong. Love is the choice. You can't beat it. Don't choose me. Don't refuse me. Tell me the title is mine. You gotta make up your mind. Just select me and relax me. Gotta make up your mind. The title is mine. Just make up your mind. Endorse me. It's of course me. Leave all the others behind. Better think straight. This is your fate. Gotta make up your mind. Gotta make up your mind. Just make up your mind. You gotta make up. Oh yeah. Make up your mind. Ooh, you better make up. Choose me.